I took the alternator all apart, and you can see, I'm going to go ahead and bend it. You see there's 3 wires that's soldered in. You see that. I'm going to bend these back because you can see this is called a brush. It doesn't look like a normal brush. It's called an alternator brush, and it's chipped. And the front one is worn down a lot more than the back one is. So I think that's my problem. So what I did was I ordered new brushes for an alternator, and I got a set of 2 of them from AutoZone for less than 20 bucks. And some of them were screwed in, but this one is soldered in, as you can tell on the back here. Get in, zoom in a little close, show you what I'm talking about. So these are soldered in. So I'm going to use a soldering iron and use some electrical solder, silver solder, to put these back in. For the Mazda 6 2005, this is the brushes that I need for my alternator. It's a JX10 brush set, Duralast brand. And these are what they look like. So I'm going to take the old ones out and put these in and see how it works. Alright, I got the soldering iron out. Got it heating up. I bent this back. It's kind of a flat surface to work on. So I'm going to try to heat this up. See that? Here we go. There we go. There we go. Get that one out. You see the difference on the size, how the old ones are wore down. The new ones are much longer than the old ones. You also got to make sure that they go in the right way. So it's slanted this way, and these were slanted this way, so they need to go in the same direction, the same slanted direction. Alright, we're going to put the first one in. Just like that. There we go. Got one soldered in. Now we can get the other soldered in. There we go. Alright. That's the other solder. And just look how much longer these things are compared to the old ones. So hopefully that'll fix the problem. You have another brush here. It is worn a little bit. I don't have a replacement for it right now, so we're just going to put it back together and see if it works. If it's still having issues, I'll take it back apart and replace this piece, but it looks like it's okay. It is worn a little bit, but we'll see how it does. Since I have this thing apart, I'm going to clean up some of these solders, and I may put some more solder on some of these wires here and there and there. Kind of clean them up. I'm also going to clean it up with a little rubbing alcohol. Doesn't damage any electronics as long as it dries out, so I'm just going to kind of clean it up when I got it apart and put it all back together. Alright, I got some rubbing alcohol. Got a brush, and I'm going to clean the inside out. Probably not needed or necessary, but it's kind of dirty from the brushes deteriorating, so just thought I'd wipe it out a little bit. So I got it apart and kind of clean all the connections up with alcohol. And make sure you let it dry first before putting it back in. So here's the other part, and this is where the brushes actually ride along. So we're going to make sure we clean these off real good, and just kind of clean it off with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol, and we'll put it back together. Also, another thing is check your bearing. This bearing seems to be okay, but if it's loose or making a bunch of noise, it doesn't roll freely, then you'll need to change the bearing out too. You can see how dirty it is when I do this, so you don't want to bring this stuff either. That's part of the brushes that we're breaking down. You just want to get all that dust and stuff out. Also, if there's a little rust, like a spot here, on here, just get a little wire brush and lightly kind of get the rust off. Alright, so here are the parts of the alternator. Remember, we just put these in, so whenever we slide this over this piece, we have to make sure that we push these, collapse these inside like this on both of them to slide it in. Trick on getting, once you got your new brushes installed, getting this cylinder through this hole. The trick is there's a little hole right here. You can press the brushes, and I use a clothes hanger. Get it out straight, and it fits in that little hole. So you can press the brushes down and hold it with this pin. But this pin also, that cylinder fits in this, the bearing fits in this hole right here. But see, there's the hole for the pin. So when you flip it over, you install it this way with the pin, you install it this way with the pin in, holding the brushes down. And once you screw it all in, the brushes are held down, then you put the cylinder back in. That's the trick. Alright, so we're going to push this in enough to go in. There's a little hole on the other side of this. Alright, let's see if we got it. Oh, there we go. Got it. So we got the first one in. You see that or not? We got it in the hole. Now we got to get the second one in. Alright, I had to do it off camera, but I got a pin and I pushed both of those down. So the pin's in there. So this pin is going to go back out through this hole when I assemble it. Alright, you can see I got the pin in the bottom right here. Let's hold it in. The brushes aren't exposed. And we're going to start putting the screws back in. Put the last screw in here on this side. Probably going to have to lift this up a little bit, this coil over. Get the bolt or screw in. Alright. Tighten that side up. Alright, it's back together. Pin is still hanging out. And remember, we're going to line our grooves back up each other and find it. There's my groove right here that I marked. We're going to find a groove on this one. It's right there. I'll line these up, put it back together. Got to put the cylinder in that hole. There we go. It's all aligned back up. Now, we'll put these bolts back in. Use a little socket. This is a 8mm socket. I'm just going to tighten these bolts up, and then I'll pull the pin out. Alright, all the 4 bolts that hold it together are tight. I'm going to attach this, which goes into here. That's the little bolt that goes in here. A bolt and a nut that goes on top. I believe it's still 8mm. Yeah. That's tight. Now we're going to pull the pin out to release the brushes. There we go. Pin's out, brushes are in. Make sure alternator spins, and it does. So it's basically ready to go back into the vehicle.